So I've moved wrecks. I've gone for a 100-gram cotton candy imp this time. It's 20 grams heavier than the Mayhem I was using, but it's a little bit more streamlined, so it probably won't load the rod anymore. So this wreck's taller and a bit more snaggy. The other one was quite low, but I was finding the fish between 10 and 20 metres up. So that hopefully means I don't need to go too near the wreck here. I can just keep it high. I'm just coming on the wreck now, so I'm going to stop it there. I'm stopping at about 8 metres up the bottom to avoid the wreck, and then I'm bringing it up to sort of 20-25 metres up. Around again. I feel this jig's different, smoother through the water. Every jig is different, so it's gonna move around in the water differently. It's going to be pulled by the line differently. It's going to trap fish in different ways. That's a really nice jig though. That's the imp, Joker imp. I'll go around again. Looks like a nice bass. Right on the bottom this time. Different wreck. And they've not been coming up in the water here. It's only my third drift, but this was right on the bottom. Looks like a nice fish. Nice bass. Nice solid bass on the Joker M. I'll bung this one back. I kept one earlier on. That's all I need really. Mine's got a bit damaged on that one. Joker M, cotton candy, 100 gram. I'm using the Palmaris P Plus Power Zero, which is rated 25 gram to 100 gram. So jig's at the sort of higher end of its rating. It's a fairly streamlined jig though, so it's not overloading it. All good. Just going to check my line now because there was a little bit of damage on it. Feels like another mackerel. Now that's a mackerel. The size of that mackerel. Absolute beast. So I had two big jumbo mackerel on the last drift. They get into the jig before the bass, unfortunately. But on the Power Zero, they're good sport anyway, and they're, they must be about a pound and a half each, some of these fish. So it's good sport, but I'm trying to find a bigger bass if I can, just to return. But it's nice to catch bigger fish. I think that's another big mackerel. Great sport. That's the jig. Joker imp and cotton candy, 100 gram. And I'm catching nice jumbo mackerel. That's not bassy. I started trying to fish different depths because I was getting mackerel on the bottom, but the first bass, the pull was tight on the bottom. And hounded by big mackerel. So I was unsure where to fish. I stuck it straight back on the bottom again. He's come off. Fished it at various depths on the way down and let it get all the way to the bottom. That's where the bass was. So that last trip I hooked a bass and it fell off. It's right on the front edge of the wreck on the deck. So to try and avoid the mackerel, I'm going to just wait a little bit longer, get close enough and then drop in, hopefully straight on them. That's the theory anyway. It's always good to have a plan.
All stations, this is Hull Coast Guard. For the maritime safety information broadcast, this is VHF channel 6363. This is Hull Coast Guard.
We're about 10 metres, 15 metres away from the edge of the wreck. Jig's still falling and we're moving towards it, it's just behind us. A little bit of sign showing. Straight in. And that's not a mackerel, that's a bass. So often in my videos I'm talking about timing with streaming lines, wind. Now I'm talking about timing and depths to avoid mackerel basically. Try and find the bass that are here. It's not very big. It's not bad. Similar size to the other ones. About 3.5, 4 pound.
Wi-Fi 1301, this is Shannon Coast Guard, over. Roger, all received. Out.
That's the plan in action. We'll do that again, I think. So get a bit closer, drop straight into where I know where the fish are. Let's keep doing that. So we need to wait to get a bit closer to the wreck again. So the Joker Mayhem and the Joker Imp have been catching the fish today so far. I'm just putting a new jig on now. It's already passed enough tests to qualify for, you know, being released by Joker. The order's in. There are going to be 4 weights to start with and 5 colours. And I'm just going to give it a little bit of time now today. I know there's some fish here, and you know, it's just nice to prove that the jig works nicely and how it feels to the rod. I've already done quite a bit of work with this jig, enough to be confident to go forward with it. It's only an 80 gram jig. The last jig I was using was the Cotton Candy 100 gram, and I was using the Mayhem 80 gram earlier on. So this is the most streamlined of the three, but it is only 80 gram. So the braid again is a little bit heavy for an 80 gram jig. Could do with like 16 or 18 pound braid really. This is 20 pound. It's not too bad. And there's a fish. There's Bassy. Right on the edge of the rack, on the bottom. I know there are going to be some bigger bass down there. Still a nice fish though. I'm going to go and get a bit bigger. But I'm not going to give you the detail on that jig just yet. I can't show it to you because tackle business is a funny old world. Once it's out and in stop mode, go around again. Always good to check out the action of your jig before you drop it in. I've said that a few times in my videos, but you need to understand what different rod movements may do to a jig. It's got a really nice action, this jig. When you're dropping it in, you don't want it to swim all the way down, so you just slow it to tip it, and then it will go down much quicker. Very close to the wreck now, I'm only a few metres away from it, so this is hopefully going to get straight into the fish. Straight into a bass. Flip it on the drop then. Or slowing it, jigging it, letting it fall again. Slowing it, jigging it, letting it fall again. Just searching out as I'm going down. I'm not quite on the wreck yet. Getting a bit bigger. There we go, another fat bass. It's taken on the new Joker jig to be revealed very soon. That's the second one I've had in 3 drifts. Back for another day. Lovely day. No punters today. I'm booked tomorrow and they couldn't do today. Tomorrow's going to be a bit blown off, so I'm going to lose that trip. And yeah, thought I'd come out, get some video footage. So I'm using the Power Zero today. It's the Palmaris P Plus Power Zero. It's rated 25 grams to 100 grams. I'm using an 80 gram jig on there at the moment. Earlier I was using the 80 gram Mayhem, which was catching, and then I used a 100 gram Imp. So that one's cotton candy. This one's the green Sprat, and I've got a secret one on there at the moment. It's already passed all its trials and that will be released soon. I've got an order in, they're being made as we speak. So I want to do a few more drifts here before I head back. Yeah, it's good fishing, I like it. The finesse side of the slow pitch jigging, you know, a lot of people will be using a heavier rod than that out here, but there's no wind. I can use an 80 gram jig. I could probably even use a 60 on there. The only thing that's on my, you know, as a negative slightly is the 20-pound braid. Ideally I'd go to like a 16 or an 18, just so the jig would fall a little bit more freer, but it's doing fine. The danger is that light braid's suicidal anywhere near the structure. You can't use it for pollock. I do use the 20 for pollock, but they, you know, they're going to take you in the wreck at times. Whereas the bass, you know, they're not always on the deck. They are at the moment, but earlier they were higher and you don't go anywhere near the wreck. So often a compromise with your gear, but it's nice to fish light, and if fish are fussy, you've got to go light anyway. It's not like there's 500 fish on every wreck or 100 fish on every wreck. There might only be a dozen or 2 dozen, and you've got to work a bit harder to get them. But that's the fun. You know, even the jumbo mackerel are doubling that rod over. It's good fun. Anyway, I'll get around again for another one.